everyone, my name is Lu Ming, and today I am going to make a video for BUAD 280, Accounting 1 Peer Tutor application. And I'm going to explain the concept and write stuff on the board. So the camera will direct you to the piece of paper on the fridge. Okay. So today we are going to talk about cost, volume, profit analysis. And first of all, let's introduce two important income format statements. The first one is called the traditional. And it equals sales minus cost of goods sold. Gives you gross margin minus selling and administrative expenses. Gives you net operating income. So sales is basically the revenue you made. It equals the price of the good times the quantity of goods sold. Cost of goods sold, however, can be broken into several parts. The first part is beginning inventory. Plus purchase of goods minus ending inventory gives you cost of goods sold. Beginning inventory plus purchase of goods gives you total goods available for sale. Available sale. I just get rid of available here. Okay. Ending inventory tells you the amount of goods that we weren't able to sell. So total goods available for sale minus the goods that we were not able to sell gives us the amount of goods that we actually sold. Okay. Now, selling and administrative expense is basically like the management cost, for example, like the salary of supervisors. It's period cost. In other words, it gets expensed while we produce something, but it does not go into the product cost. Now let's talk about contribution income statement. Okay. Equals sales minus variable cost gives you contribution margin minus fixed cost, and that gives you net operating income. So sales is the same definition as this, and variable cost. Variable cost basically varies with sales. As the sales volumes goes up, total variable cost goes up. However, the variable cost per unit stays the same. Like, for example, if you produce a type of food, then the raw material and other variable cost will keep constant per unit, but the total variable cost will vary with the amount of goods that you sold. So if we represent that on a graph, the graph will look like this. This is the total variable cost, and this is the volume of goods sold. When there's no goods sold, in other words, if it's 0, then variable cost equals 0. Now, fixed cost. Fixed cost is basically constant, no matter how much goods you sell. If we represent it on a graph, it will look like this. Fixed cost and volume. Now this income statement is very important for companies, and this is usually the information that companies do not want to release to the public. Okay, and the contribution margin tells you how much net operating income you get after covering the fixed cost. Okay, now let's introduce another concept, which is called the break-even point. Oh, let me get another pen. Okay, actually pencil will work. Okay, so the break-even point, right? This is the number of units when the net operating income equals 0. So we have a formula for this, which is fixed cost divided by contribution margin per unit. It gives you break-even point in units. Okay, now let's do a problem. Alpha sells desktop computers for $500 each. Each desktop has a variable cost of $250 per unit. The company's monthly fixed expenses are $600,000. What's the company's break-even point in units? Now it's very easy. We can assume that the break-even point in units is X. So it sells computer for $500 each, which gives you price equals 50, and then each desktop has a variable cost of 250. Monthly fixed expenses 600,000, and if you follow the format, which gives you 500, we assume there are only one good sold, right? Oh, I mean X goods sold, so that gives you 250x minus fixed cost and gives you 0. Because remember, the definition of break-even point units is when the net operating income equals 0. So now we can see that 250x minus 600 gives you 0, which gives you x equals